Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Real Hawks Talk podcast. I'm Kyle Svedich, or VTech, whichever you want to call me. We are going into March 28th. The Chicago Blackhawks go to San Jose. So some stats prior to the game. San Jose is on a 6-game losing streak. That's the longest they have had of the year. They trail Calgary for the first place in the Pacific Division, 6 points behind them. Chicago has lost 4 of 5 in the past games. They trail Colorado by 7 prior to the game of the second wild card spot. The players to watch in this game were Patrick Kane at 8 points in his last 12 games, 1 goal, 7 assists, and 44 points in last 22 games, 18 goals and 26 assists. San Jose, Joe Thornton is 3 assists away from tying Steve Zeiserman in assist on the 8th all-time list, and that would be 1,063 assists. Also has 10 points in last 12 games. That's 3 goals, 7 assists. Some little bit more stats here. Duncan Keith has 4 points in past 7 games. 2 goals and 2 assists. Chicago has lost 4 straight to San Jose. Last win was in November 25th, 2015. Starting goalies: Corey Crawford, 35 games played, 13 wins, 8 losses, 3 overtime losses for a .909 save percentage and 2.91 goals against. Martin Jones has played 58 games, 35 wins, 17 losses, 5 overtime losses for a save percentage of .898. Goals against are 2.91. Same as Crawford, more games played. Save percentage not as high as Crawford's, but the same goals against. In the first period, very early in, 2 minutes and 33 seconds in, a penalty on Marcus Sorensen. Goalie interference on Crawford. Then just a couple, I would say about 45 to 30 seconds in to that penalty at 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Penalty on Brent Bird's high sticking on DeBrincat. And that penalty really wasn't called kind of until there was, I believe it was offside or something happened, and the referees kind of got together and decided, hey, I think this is a penalty. So Hawks on a 5-on-3. They score their first goal at 4 minutes and 10 seconds in to the first period. The goal was by DeBrincat, his 39th of the year. Taves with his 43rd assist of the year, and Patrick Kane his 62nd assist of the year. Just about 2 minutes and 9 seconds after that, 6 minutes 19 seconds in to the first period, a goal by Connor Murphy, his 5th of the year, assisted by Brendan Saad, his 21st assist of the year, and Anisimov, his 21st of the year as well, an assist. Then about 4 minutes, I would say a little bit more than 4 minutes after that, at 10:59, Taves scores his 32nd of the year, assisted by Saad getting his 2nd, Gustafson getting his 38th of the year. So the Hawks are at has a 3-0 lead, just a little bit outside of 5 minutes in, but a minute later, a goal by Rendell, his 7th of the year. Hurdle gets his 33rd of the year, and Burns gets his 65th of the year. And on this goal, Crawford has the glove save. I think it was deflected a little bit out in front of him. Um, not by Riddell there, but I think it was a defenseman. It was higher than I think he would expect it. He had it in the glove. It just kind of popped out and it went in the back of the net. For a while since Crawford's been back, it's been a while since he's given up an easy goal like that. So I can understand the frustration right there. You know, probably a lot of Hawks fans are like, well, there he goes, giving up another easy goal. But it's been a couple weeks, really, since he's given up an easy goal, especially with the offense being so hot. The defense kind of slacks a little bit. And I'm not really blaming the defense on this one. I think Crawford should have had it, and he didn't. It's just one of them things that happen. You know, goalies let bad goals in. You can only play really so well before a bad goal goes in. And he lets one go in. And then at 13 minutes in and 27 seconds, Seabrook gets an interference on Joe Thornton. Penalty killers killed that one off. Not that big of a deal. I mean, we cashed in on a power play. They didn't cash one in, so we should be decent there. But then about 4 minutes later at 17:57, Seabrook gets another tripping call on Carlson. And the Hawks kill that one off too. Hawks, at the end of the first, they come out swinging for the fences. They start really hot off with that 5-on-3. I think the 5-on-3 really helped them out with that, scoring two, not two on the power play, but just two right after another. Getting the pucks to the net, being in front of the net front presence was there. That's something that has been lacking a little bit in that. Yes, Crawford gets up an easy shot. Not that big of a deal. We turn around and answer. It's just seeming right now it's just going to be a defense is not there. The defense is not there, especially going in the second period when I get through all that. Second, defense was not there. Stupid penalties on top of each other with Seabrook already having 2 in this game. But penalty killing does very well in the first period to keep it a 3-1 game. Like I said, you blame Crawford for that one goal. It is what it is. It happens. They're up 3-0. He gives up a fluke goal. Not that big of a deal. But I understand at this point the Sharks are missing people. They're missing like Pavelski. They're missing their big time goal scorers, their big time D guys. But Thornton and Byrne, I mean, it wasn't, the Hawks just came out swinging from fences. They came out hot. They came on fire, especially that 5-on-3 really helped them out in that period. So that was a good momentum going in. I understand that, what really helped that situation out was 2-1. Sharks score a goal, right? Or actually, I may be wrong. I think we scored 3 straight in a row. Yeah, my bad. We scored 3 straight in a row. My bad. I apologize for that one. We scored 3 straight, and they get that one goal back, and it's like, oh, they get a little momentum, but they kind of kill it down, slow it down a little bit. Nothing major going on going into the second period. Shouldn't be too much of a difference here. Shots on goal in the first period, Chicago had 14. They had 6 hits. Face-off percentage was 55.6. 5 block shots, 5 giveaways, 4 takeaways, 1-on-2 on the power play, and 4 penalty minutes. San Jose had 9 shots on goal, 10 hits, 44.4 in the face-off dot, 5 block shots, 3 giveaways, 4 takeaways, 0-2 on the power play, and 4 penalty minutes as well. So you could take that as right now the Hawks have the edge on the both on the 5-on-5 and even strength play. But then going into the second period, right away, 42 seconds in, Slater Cuckoo gets a hooking on Nyquist. The penalty kill did very well. They got a lot of the pucks out. I believe Saad had an opportunity. There was a couple who quite was it? I think it was Saad. Jones comes out to play the puck, and he kind of mishandles it, and Saad was there, and then he mishandles it, and it doesn't go in the back, and then he tries to wrap around. Really didn't work out. But then right away after that, the PK, like I said, the PK did very well at getting the puck out. I think it was like the last little bit. I mean, it was close to penalty being over, and they left the back door open. And it was a power play goal by Nyquist, his 20th of the year. Hurdle gets his 34th assist of the year. LeBlanc gets his 38th assist of the year. But under 2 minutes after that, at 4:21, DeBrincat gets his second of the game, 40th of the year. Strome gets his 34th assist of the year, and Cahoon gets his 23rd. But don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think DeBrincat is the youngest player to get to 40 goals in a season, and I think Kane and DeBrincat are the first pair of 40 goal scorers in Blackhawks history. It's got to be. I'm not quite sure on the dates. But if you have the dates, let me know. But they both have over 40 goals or 40 goals. They have been the next duo to do that in many of years for that to happen. But then, a little bit right after that at 14:46, Seabrook gets his third penalty of the game, a high sticking. I forget who it was on. I didn't write that down. I was more concerned of, hey, he's got his third penalty of the game. It comes down to stupid penalties, right? Then a little bit after that, not even a minute after that, at 5:22, Murphy covers the puck with his hand and gets a penalty off of that. So that leaves the Sharks on a 5-on-3. Yet again, a 5-on-3. We didn't see that in Arizona, but yet again, when did the play, what caused us to lose that game in Arizona? A penalty. And what we go through, we're going through a crap ton of penalties right here. I mean, that's already 5. That's 5 penalties before we even hit the third period. And, it's a 5-on-3. They can't get the puck out. They have a couple block shots. Crawford plays pretty well. But then it's like the Colorado's goal when they went to Colorado. It was passed from the boards, and it was tipped in, and nothing Crawford could do on that. So there was a goal that Crawford gave up that you can't really blame him quite on that. And even in the other power play goal, you couldn't really blame him on that one either. I think it was rebounded a little bit. The back door, he was playing his position, and I believe it was Hurdle was sitting right in front of Crawford on that one power play goal, sitting right in front of Crawford, and he goes on a butterfly. And I'm talking, he's got to be at least 6 inches away from Crawford at this point. And instead of shooting the puck, he elects to pass it back door to Nyquist, and he puts in the back of the net, and there's no one there to help that out because everyone else is, towards Crawford and towards the puck and not so much on the back door. Like I said, you can't really blame him much on that one other than the one goal that he gave up early. The puck gets deflected and it goes past, it's one of those, it was a tip in, not really a deflection, but just more of a tip in. Then right after that, I mean, a little bit later in the period, it was a turnover that left Crawford all by himself. I mean, he was out to dry, and he had a great couple breakaway stops, but there's only so many breakaway stops that you can give in a game. I would say a goaltender normally sees about 2 to 3 breakaways, but he saw this in a matter of a period. He saw nearly 3 breakaways in that second period. But he just couldn't stop this one at 16:06. Myers get his 29th of the year. Couture gets his 40th assist of the year. Knight gets his 37th of the year, an assist. But then About 2 minutes later, after that, at 18:08, a goal by Kunitz, for his fourth of the year, assisted by Kane, his 63rd of the year, and Gustin at his 39th of the year. And really, what Kane does here is he just backhands it to the net, and Kunitz is there. He deflects it, and it goes underneath Jones there, and that's something that I think with scoring those early 3 goals, that the team was realizing, the game just gets tied up, and they go around and they make a pushback and go back in front, and that would end up being the game-winning goal by Kunitz. It was, I would really say this period alone was all Sharks. There was stupid penalties. Seabrook having three penalties in his game, and then especially, giving up a 5-on-3. That just something they need to work on. I understand that there was no defense in these first 2 periods at all. There was none of that. Zero, zilch, none. It was a fly back and forth game. All that other good stuff. I'm very excited. I would say it's a very exciting game. Just not a game that I really enjoy because it's not a lot of suspense. When you get those, the Arizona game, yes, we end up losing that game, but I enjoy those games because it's suspenseful. It's not that every shot's going to go in the back of the net. I like when when 2 goalies are really battling it out, the defenses are really battling it out, and it's a chess match out there. I enjoy the chess match games. This was more, all right, who's gonna get the turnover? Who's gonna make that good pass? The goalie, we definitely know that there's not gonna be defense there, and the goalie is not gonna stop it. And I'm not downgrading the goalies in this matchup at all. They were, tough shots they had to face. It's just something that we don't see. But like I said, Crawford's coming off 11. This was his 11th start. You're telling me you're expecting a goalie to go out there every single night and give up less than 2 goals a game? It's not gonna happen. The greatest goalies in the world, the Patrick Roys, they're not gonna let that happen. The Hendrik, Lundqvist ain't gonna let that happen. Jonathan Quick, it's just gonna happen. The Tuukka Rask, that's gonna happen. The Sidney Varlamovs, the Grubauer, we just seen Grubauer. That's going to happen. They're going to give up goals. And sometimes they're in a slump and where they give up goals. But that's when the offense turns around and picks it up. But then again, it's on the defense. It's on the penalties, Really, Crawford, I'm going to say at least one of those power plays should have gone in just because of the situation they were in. So I'll give the Nyquist goal. Not saying that it's Crawford's fault, but he should have had just 2 goals against him. The 1 goal was his mistake. The other one, not so. Even the next 3, really not his fault. They were, he was left on an island, and you can't let that happen. And you may say, hey, you're wrong, or that was all Crawford's fault, blah blah blah. But if you listen to post game, afterwards, I believe Patrick Sharp says you can't let your goaltender on an island all the time. It's just not gonna work in your favor. There was no defense. If you were watching the game, you understand where I'm coming from. Like I said, it's the penalties, the turnovers that really caused them to tie that up. But then Chris Kunitz comes back and ends up getting that 1 goal lead over them. Offense. For Chicago, I don't understand. They get the offense going, but there's no defense. They get the defense going, there's no offense. I was just the last 2 weeks I was preaching. Okay, defense is there. The goalie can only give up so much before the goalie can only do so much in a certain amount of games, and if there's no offense, you're not going to win any games, right? But now we're in a situation where, okay, the defense isn't helping out the goalie anymore, but the offense is taking control. So what that means is this is just a back and forth game. It's a shootout where they're just, you get one team who's in a slump trying to get out of that slump. And then you have one team who you would say theoretically or mathematically still in the playoffs, but theoretically they're kind of out. They're playing loose. They're just, I think it's a light at the end of the tunnel, like I was preaching last podcast, was a light at the end of the tunnel. And I just think that's kind of, it snowballed in a shootout. And it gives you a little hope that you say, deep down inside as a fan, okay, there's still a chance. You still have a chance. There's no X by that spot saying that you're not in the playoffs yet. There's still that chance, but yet a lot of things need to happen in order for you to make that spot. And there is I believe Colorado and Arizona do play each other, and I want to say I hope that Arizona wins that game in regulation and not in overtime, just because that negates Colorado jumping those extra 2 points, which move it back, move them back into the 7 points. So you kind of want them to even out a little bit there. But then after that, that's it. It's all about who is going to, who's going to fall into a slump, who's going to rise above the occasion. You need three teams to fall into a slump, really. You're going to need 3 teams to fall into a slump. And it's going to be a little difficult. You got to keep doing, just got to keep winning games. And even if we miss the playoffs by a point, I would say, okay, we took these last 6 games and we went somewhere with it. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe a couple changes here and there. We may get rid of a couple people. But like I'm saying, the defense, it was just, there was no defense there. It was just both sides, no defense. Either way, both sides, no defense at all. I'm just hoping to see that the defense and the offense are going to work in harmony. Once that happens, I think the Hawks are something to deal with. I'll get more into depth with that later on in the podcast. But going into the second period stats, like I said, the only thing that is really from the second period is the shots on goal. The face-off and all that other stuff is combined throughout the game. Chicago has 14 shots on goal in the second, 46.3 in the face-off dot, 1 for 2 on power plays, 10 penalty minutes, 15 block shots, 17 hits, 10 giveaways, 10 takeaways. San Jose has 9 shots on goal, 53.7 in the face-off dot, 2 for 5 on the power play, 4 penalty minutes, 6 block shots, 18 hits, 7 giveaways, and 6 takeaways. And I always love that, looking at that stat, that giveaway and that takeaway stat, right? And I understand it's a close margin, but I really don't want to see the giveaways in the tens, because giveaways turn into really bad turnovers. And that can lead to goals, especially even if you would say that one goal that Crawford gave up on that breakaway chance, if they didn't turn that puck over, it would only be 9-7. So it would look a little better. But like I said, there was no really defense, and it was just kind of the offense. And you look at that and you say, well, that was a defense that caused that takeaway, or that well, no, actually, my bad. The giveaway is the offense just giving it to the defense and then turning it to offense. The takeaways are 7-6, so that really shows you that which defense is really going out there and getting the puck, and them being 7-6. It's bad. Really, that's bad. But then going to third period, no penalties, no goals. The defense a lot better. Both goalies played a lot better in that period. The Hawks end up winning 5-4. Another, one of those games that you haven't seen in a while, that makes you question the goaltender a little bit, makes you question the defense, but doesn't make you question the offense at all. So I'm just hoping that somewhere along the lines, not this year, but hopefully next year, the Hawks realize, hey, we have a potential with the players that we're having. I understand that Kane's having a hell of a year, Taves is having a hell of a year, but you look at the young, DeBrincat, he's having a hell of a year. with the Strom and all. I think the pieces are there. The maturity isn't. The defense quite isn't. But I think the pieces are there to make an extended run into the playoffs. Or at least make the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup. I'm just saying I think the pieces are there. And even with the veteran guys going out, even I just think they're there. Even if Keefe and Seabrook don't make it fully through, if we have to get rid of one of them too. I know Crawford's still on a deal. But I'm just saying, we still have Colin Delia coming up. I don't expect Cam Ward being with us anymore after this year. I think they're going to bring up Colin Delia and leave a spot open in the roster so we can bring more people in. But that's my thinking. I just think the pieces are there. I just think that the puzzle needs to be put together. But like I said, this game should have been a blowout. The Hawks should have just ran away with this. It should have just been easy going. And I'm not really, saying that San Jose is not a good team, because they are, but I just don't think that they were there. I don't think San Jose was really there. I just think the Hawks should have just easily just taken that one and go to LA with it. No big deal. But yet again, the careless penalties. Penalties over the last couple games, they've been in key situations that has killed us. And that's just something that needs to be changed. That's something you need to look towards the future. Like I said, defense on both sides was terrible. Offense was the go-to in this game. It's the exciting game, the what everyone wants, more goals. Not so much a chess match. It's just whoever can really just find the soft spot in the zone and just get it towards the back of the net is really what that needs to be. But it's finally nice to see the offense after a two weeks of not scoring 3 goals in a game in the first 7 minutes of the game, scoring 3 goals. So that's nice to see. It's just I hope to see those the offense and defense work in harmony. But then getting into the end of game stats in the third period, shots on goal were 8-9. Chicago had 8. San Jose had 9. But then going into just the rest of the game, Chicago had 27 shots on goal, 52.7 the faceoff dot, 1 for 2 on the power play, 10 penalty minutes, 22 hits, 20 block shots, 13 giveaways, and 8 takeaways. San Jose had 30 shots on goal, 47.3 in the faceoff dot, 2 for 5 on the power play, 4 penalty minutes, 30 hits, 9 block shots, 11 giveaways, and 9 takeaways. I'm liking to see that the shots on goal are limited to 30. I respect that. You take 10 goals, you split that into thirds, and you get 10 shots on goal per period. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. The defense giving up 30 shots on goal. Don't mind that at all. Once it gets into the 35s, the 40s, that's when you start, okay, that's way too many blocks, or too many shots. But the blocks, especially, they're at 20. So that's 20 shots that Crawford could have seen, but they were blocked. San Jose only having 9. So the shots on goal really weren't there for Chicago, but the shots were really just going in, and I think it just turns into that passing clinic because everything's going in, so you're just looking for that wide open spot, and that's just one of those things that turn into. But the penalties, 10-4, that's not going to cut it. You knock down at least those penalties to just 1 or none. Stupid penalties. Like the Murphy one, he shouldn't really cover the puck up, but. That's just a stupid mistake that should have just not been there, and then it wouldn't have led into a 5-on-3. So maybe the game would have been 5-3, 5-2, 5-1. That opportunity should have been there. But then going to the goalie stats, Corey Crawford, 26 saves on 30 shots for a .867 save percentage with 4 goals against. Martin Jones had 22 saves, 27 shots against for a .815 save percentage and 5 goals against. really, I think the goalies here in both, there was no defense to help them out. I was thinking it was going to be early goalie pool with Martin Jones, but then San Jose kind of turns it around and kind of gets it back even and all that. So you didn't really see that. But it's just one of those things that happen. It's just there was no defense. It was just all offense. I know some people enjoy that. Like I said, I'm not one that enjoy that. I enjoy the chess match as it is. But Chicago's individual stat leaders, time on ice, Duncan Keith had 26 minutes and 3 seconds. Taves had the most shots at 7. Slater Cuckoo had 6 hits. Connor Murphy had 6 blocks. Then face-off percentage, Marcus Kruger at 100%. San Jose individual stats, Brent Burns had 27 minutes and 55 seconds on the ice. He also had 5 shots. Braun had 4 hits. Dylan, Vasilevsky, Ryan all had 2 block shots, and Evander Kane had a face-off percentage at 66.7%. The 3 stars of the game: Jonathan Taves, Jonas Hurdle, and Alex DeBrincat. Chicago still, they're 5 points back in the second wildcard spot. The next 3 games are Saturday at LA at 9:30, Monday at home at 7:30 against Winnipeg, and Wednesday at 7 against St. Louis. So you're starting to, really, LA is towards the bottom of the standings. So you're not really gonna mark that one as a win, but that's a game you should come out with the 2. At this point, with them being so far down in the standings, even if you go into overtime and you win in overtime, you can give them that 1 point, not that big of a deal. Even coming through these next, 2 games or 3 games, you can go into overtime and win because you'll get 2 points. Though the other team, Winnipeg and St. Louis are so far ahead of you that you're not really battling them out. Your battle was, the last 3 games ago, and you blew that. So I'm not saying there's going to be a chance to win the playoffs, or not win the playoffs, but get into the playoffs. I'm just saying that when you're looking at it, this is what you need to look at as well. But someone was asking, I forget what the post game was. They were talking about DeBrincat. Did he hit the ceiling? He's 21 years of age, right? I don't. I think it was Patrick Sharp said he made a good valid point. 40 goals in a game for being his second year, great. That's amazing. But you know who's going to become better out of that? I think Strome is. He said that Strome is going to be a better producer, better centerman. Everything's going to be better going forward because he's going to have that extra class. He's going to have that chemistry with DeBrincat. And I think that's just going to excel them to the next step to keep producing like a Taves and Kane is. I'm going to say this to the day I die or until the day they split up, saying this is the next Kane and Taves. It is. That we have found the replacement, and now it's time to fill in those core players. We need a Marian Hossa. We need that one guy, and I think Sadi could really fit into that role. We need those next 2 defensemen. I think Forsling and Murphy could fit into that role. I think with Gustafsson, he could really give us that extra push in the defense to score goals, to do all the rest of that stuff. And then with Colin Dewey, they're going to be stepping in. I think, personally, the future looks bright for us. And we're young. I understand that we're going to have to get rid of some players. I don't think Ward's going to be with us. Kunis isn't going to be with us. But just think of, down in the comments below, think of other players that may not be with us. I don't think Kane and Taves are going to go quite anywhere just yet. I think that with, like I said, with their 3 rings they have, I really don't see them wanting to go anywhere else because this is their home. This is where they've been. I could be wrong in the case of me saying this, but this is something that with such a young team, with everything going clicking together, I know Panarin's going to be a free agent, so maybe looking to pick him up, maybe possibly. Um, but it's just one of those things that can happen. I mean, there's a great. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I do. And I'm not saying that we're going to be a dynasty again. I'm not saying that's all going to happen again. But I do see somewhere in the next 10 years of possibly winning another Stanley Cup and possibly making great playoff pushes towards that. And this is something I want to address. And I know, tanking is such a thing, but we're so far out of tanking, it's not even a question. The teams that should be tanking are the people at the bottom of the league. We're really not. I mean, we are, but we aren't. Right now, we're 5 points back, and I was looking through Twitter and all this and that, and someone was like, well, back to tanking again. After they gave up the one. It was 3-2, and we give them a goal. Well, back to tanking again. What does that show your fan base? What does that show your players that you're playing with, your coaches? What does that show you? All right, to my eyes, that shows me you give up. You don't care about what the rest of the season does. All right, it shows that you don't believe in the players that you got to go on forth and win games, and even if you're at the bottom of the league. But see, it's not a for sure thing. The Hawks may not make the playoffs, but they still could get the overall #1 pick. Right? It's a lottery. There's a lot. It's not just, okay, the bottom of the league guy, yeah, you get the #1 pick. Now, does he get the more votes for it and get a better chance? Yes, because they're at the bottom of the league. But this is the way to prevent from tanking. So there's no need to tank. Even if you miss, you're going to miss. I just don't see it that we're going to make the playoffs. And I want to keep the hopes high for that. But there's still a chance for you to miss the playoffs and be 1 point out of that spot and still get the #1 draft. You can't give up on the players that are in front of you. You have to have a little belief, because if you believe in them, sometimes they believe back at you, and that determines, going forward. If you give negative reviews all the time, they're not going to play as well. It just, think of it. Okay, think of it your favorite restaurant, right? Favorite restaurant. You go there all the time. You love it. You enjoy it. And you go there one time and the food's not as good. Okay? Something just tastes right. Something gets burnt. Whatever the case may be. Until you go, well, this is the worst restaurant in the world. This is the worst restaurant. I used to love this place. Now I don't. Screw it. I'm writing bad reviews, all this and that. And I get there's going to be, bandwagon fans and people are going to jump off of it and just keep moving around. I get that. But if you're a bandwagon fan, stop saying things on social media. Stop thinking that things are going to turn around just because you said, well, they're just tanking. Stop saying that a team sucks because they're struggling. If you're a bandwagon fan, there's another team somewhere else in the league that's going to make the playoffs, that are going to win the Stanley Cup. Go over there. I get it. People are going to be bandwagon fans. You can say that I'm with the Chicago White Sox. But I'm not such a bandwagon fan where I'm going to, yes, may I say they're bad, because they are. They are, as far as they're young. They need more talent wise. I think that they're making that push. I understand this is not a White Sox podcast, but I'm just saying that deep down inside, I don't want them losing games. I want them winning. I want them to be back in the playoffs. And when someone argues, well, oh, you're a White Sox fan, I say, yeah, I know I'm a White Sox fan, and I know they're bad. But that's part of being a fan, a fan that's not a bandwagon fan. You know the limits. And when someone says, oh, you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan, well, they're not in the play. Oh, no, I'm not really a Blackhawks fan. I just, I like the logo or something. Those are bandwagon fans. And, you know, in this podcast, I'm trying to go away from the politically correct, the more emotional, to get you attached into the emotional side of things, to be a fan, what it's like to be a fan, what you're experiencing. It's for those diehard fans. It's for the fans that care enough to see what's really going on and not just look from the outside and go, oh well, their record bad. The person that goes, you understand what's going on, or you understand that someone's going through a slump, or you see the value in a player who is good, makes great saves, or along the cases of that, or makes great plays, but isn't really getting the credit because his numbers don't show it, or you watch a game and he gives up a bad game and that's the one game you've watched all year. If you watch every game, you understand. And when I get into Brandon Saad, he's been playing great. He's been playing wonderful. Secura's been playing wonderful. They just don't have the numbers to show the goals produced, anything like that. Secure has assists, but he doesn't have any goals, and he's had his opportunities. You're just not seeing that. When someone just looks at a sheet and look at all the numbers, and I understand people say, well, numbers don't lie. Well, yeah, numbers don't lie, but you also have to look at, the hustle they're making, the actual gameplay, everything else along the lines of that. You have to actually watch the game and understand what's going on in that respective area. And I'm not dissing on the other goaltender. I'm not dissing on Cam Ward. I'm not dissing on Colin Dooley, because the defense at that time was not playing well, and Crawford had the defense around him. And today would show that, okay, the defense isn't going to play, so the offense is going to play. It's going to leave the goaltender out to dry. And I'm not saying that all the three goaltenders we've had play all year haven't been horrible. They've been playing very well. But when you look at Cam Ward's statistics and Corey Crawford's statistics, yes, Cam Ward has played more games, but he also split time with Colin Delia than they have with Crawford. But his save percentage, his goals against, I'm not saying that this game is probably gonna boost his save percentage, his save percentage down and his goals against up. But you have to look at that, a little bit to understand some of the situations that are going through there. The offense really had to help out the defense in recent, when they were on that streak there of going in and out. But just this game was a fault in the defense. And I'm not saying that Corey Crawford didn't have to make some saves, but he did. He had to make some saves, and that's what he had to do to keep the game respectable. I'm not saying Martin Jones didn't, but he didn't make some of the saves that Crawford, did. You just have to really watch the game. You can't just sit here and listen to me talk and say, well, this is what happened. And you kind of have to watch the game at your own perspective. And this is what this podcast is. It's just my point of view to the game. And you may have a different point of view. But if you have a different point of view, put it down in the comments below, and I will discuss what I think, if I agree or disagree, and what my reasoning is behind that. But so this is going to do it for today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Down in the description below will be my Twitch link, where sometimes I do this live. I won't do this live against LA because I'll be gone away for the weekend like I normally am, and it's also a 9:30 game, and I know no one wants to be up at 2:30 in the morning like I am talking about this right now. But the next one, while I'll do it live, hopefully will be against Winnipeg, which is a 7:30 game. So I'll probably get on about 30 minutes after the game, once I get all my statistics down, everything out, kind of get everything thought processed wise into it, and I'll stream that live. And at that last 15 minutes or so, or whenever I'm really talking through the game, I will discuss it if there's people in my in the chat, in the Twitch, but also go on Twitter as well, where I will post at the beginning or after the first period saying, hey, I'm doing a podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that that you want to discuss in the podcast, put those in the comments in Twitter, and I will discuss those throughout the podcast at the end, like I said. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this, and hopefully catch you in the next podcast after the LA Kings.